Hey, what's up, everybody? What's going on? This is the Reluctant Nabi back again. Um, hey, what's up, everybody? What's going on? This is the Reluctant Nabi back again. Hold on, let me get rid of my feedback. Let me pop this on real quick. I was going to skip. So I was going to skip some things, but you know what? I kind of changed my mind on that. So let me do this real quick. What's up, Zimaloo? Simplified Texas Marine. All right. Do this real quick while we wait on some of the rest of the brethren to hop on in here. And let's see. Oh, I'm in the wrong section. There we go. All right. So as we wait on some of the brothers to get in, allow me to kind of lead in with my usual greeting. One moment, please. All right. There we go. As we now officially get started. Simplified USMC vet. All right. What's up, everybody? This is the Reluctant Nabi back again. I'm going to greet everybody real quick. Hawarden Hardu, good dog. Oh, oi to the vein. Vasas los. Bonjour, mes amis. Kela bawani konnichiwa. Ni hao ni ama. Sani bonani. Jumbo habaragani. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Kumusta ka? Kumusta po kayo? Talava lava soy fua to my brother out there in Hawaii, Polynesia, if we want to get more creative with it. So, hey, welcome to this live, because this is going to be a different one. Or one, it's going to be like ones that I've done back in the past. All right, let me cool this off real quick. All right, so let's see. Marine Corps vet. Hey, simplified Marine Corps vet. So we got the Marines in here representing. Okay. Now, before I really get started on this one, we got hey, what's up, Antonio? Hey, SC May, what's going down? All right, as we get into this one, first, and this is going to be for people that have impact or who have something to say based on their life experiences, especially for us older brothers here. All right. So, as we get into this, I'm going to go through this because this is something that I really, really see on a spiritual level. What I am going to address at first. Okay. So, with that said, all right, with that said, all right, we want to talk about this big old giant mofo elephant that is in the room. Okay, we want to talk about this giant elephant in the room. All right. And so just to start it off, this is going to be how to recognize. Often I came up with a term like, what, somebody helped me back in 2013, what? 2009, 10, about recognizing, all right, the rubies and unicorns. And I was speaking to a sister, right? And somebody used to say, there was a brother that used to say, I used to refer to finding a good woman like find rubies, because I got that from the Old Testament. I got that from the scriptures. And somebody said, they used to equate it to like searching through the garbage for some steak, right? And I started to see just some parallels in that. And when I was talking to the sister, and it came to me, why use rubies and unicorns? Unicorns, it is rare. It won't be what we think one is, a flying horse with a glory. But a unicorn is an animal that generally has two horns but end up with one. All right, that's rare. It can happen. You could see one, right? And then the ruby thing. So y'all hear me out when we talk about the ruby thing. The unicorns and rubies. Unicorn is the rarity that in this generation, finding a woman suitable to be a wife under our own customs, where you could get somebody and rebuild new doctrines that you, your family are going to live by. You could set up new parameters. All right. And imagine what would happen if you had enough children. All right. And we built within a community that had these same kind of parameters, right? And so this is the trash and that we're accustomed to seeing, the twerking all over the place, right? But the woman to your right could be a ruby, could be a unicorn, but you don't know. All right? Because it could be a fake piece of glass that's red, right? Or it might be something different once you get up close enough and get to know something, right? Now, do you know how they teach people to recognize counterfeit money? They don't teach them all the tricks that the counterfeiters do. What they do is have them examine to the teeth the real money, so that anything that does not appear like the real money can be assumed to be counterfeit. Then they go mark everything up so they know all the security features that should be on real money, from the fill of the paper to all the security things that they put in it. All right. Now, with this said, some forgeries look almost as real as the real thing, but they'll have something majorly wrong with them, from the ink to the paper. All right. And so this is how we have to start examining these women. All right. The trash is real easy to see. the thing is, when you throw steak, a good steak, into the garbage, it then becomes infected by the garbage. If you find a ruby in garbage, in dirt, it remains a ruby. A ruby is not tainted by the garbage because the ruby is its own thing. All right. A ruby is its own thing with its own characteristics of a ruby. It's red. It has a hardness. I think it's on the whatchamacallit scale. I think it is maybe seven or six. All right. Or no, our nails is like 3. All right. But in any case, so a ruby has its own thing. So even when it's in the midst of garbage, it does not stop being a ruby. A steak in the midst of garbage gets tainted by the garbage to the point where the steak becomes the garbage and it's no good anymore. That's why I compare a good woman to a ruby with the rarity of a unicorn. All right. This would be the steak. Some people will look in the garbage and see a big old juicy steak, right? And they say that I am going to eat that steak, not aware that because they chose it because it looked good, they didn't know that it was sullied by all the other crap that was in the garbage, and now they're sick as hell. And in some cases, these steaks will kill you. All right. These are no-go zones, y'all. And again, remember I said you got to recognize the woman by the uniform she wears. These women are wearing the uniform saying that their only purpose is to extort money from good men while they allow the bad men to run through them for free because that's what they love. Right? And they are not going to be any good for you. And you better not think that you are going to raise your seed with one of these. See that McDonald meal thrown into the middle of the street, telling that man he couldn't feed his son if he can't feed the rest of her responsibilities from thugs she done got with, right? This is kind of what you get when you mess with this. All right, brothers, we got to start seeing these uniforms and see them for what they are. Even if at first you couldn't catch it, as soon as you recognize what it is, leave with your resources intact so that you could share your resources with a more worthy woman, which is going to be difficult to find. So we're going to get into that too, scripturally. All right. And then you got a lot of people that won't talk to the middle one because she's not melanated enough. But the two on the side, y'all probably know the one in the orange type bathing suit. She's been run through by multitudes of Caucasian dudes. She only talks to Caucasian dudes, right? So Afro men are making her famous while she's being run through by white dudes with whom she's given the money to. All right, and then you have the one in the red on the other side saying that her and her fake hair is straight on down for thug fizzle for shizzle manisms. All right. Now, the one in the middle, I tell brothers, go to Brazil. The one in the middle is probably the one, women that look like the one in the middle. And some of y'all know some of the women I have dealt with in Brazil over the years look like the one in the middle. The thing is that I didn't have a problem with trying to attempting a relationship with that because I was not color struck. I was looking for the quality of the woman, right? And if she was dark, I'm dark women get my attention quicker. Afro women get my attention quicker if they're in their natural state. But if they ain't hollering at me, I'm hollering at the one in the middle in Brazil or here in Colombia. All right. Now, remember the lady from the DR that was real famous? The woman you see on the right. Okay. When you look at this, a lot of these women, a lot of the black women, they go places where primarily white men exist, older white men, because they're after money. They're not even after legacy. They'll have their child for money. So what's going to happen when the white man's money is going to not be any good? You know, the dollar is going to take a hit because Africa found a lot of gold and everybody is going to move away from the dollar. That's what it looks like. All right, so what are these women going to do when the white man of the United States and England starts to not have any power anymore? Because of all the theft around the world that England did as a nation. And then all of the war mongering the United States did as a nation. All right. This woman over here, I forget her name, but she was real popular, had a few songs, and she was like, I am so pro-black. I am so pro-black because, well, she was trying to get her stuff to sell. And so to say you're pro-black, that's all you need to say to get a bunch of black people to buy your stuff, your music. Except when she was being run through, she was being run through by Sharon Osbourne's son. So she didn't like Afro men. She only wanted Afro men to put her up into popularity. She, trying to get that hip hop cred. So she would do duets with Afro men, but she didn't want no relationship with them. See, so they want to use their color for clout, but they're so ashamed of it that they won't pass it down to their children. They say, oh, I want this because my color is going to make me money, but I hate it. So let me get a Caucasian man, have this child so they can have good hair while I wear a wig to pretend I have an afro. The oxymoron that is with a lot of these women is ridiculous, right? So why do I bring this up? I bring this up because a lot of times our naturally smiling women that wear their real hair, we pass by them, and these are the women we should be choosing. But here's the problem. Are you so ruined by the media that the only woman that you see as beautiful is the one in the middle? Because here's the irony. That's the one I don't see as beautiful. Right? I see she got a nice shape, but the thing that catches my eye is first the woman on the right, on the left, because she's closer face picture, but it might be the same woman on the right, right? That's a beautiful woman right there. But have we been so brain dead as men, that it's been driven in us that she has to have tattoos, a plastic booty, plastic breasts, weave down to her butt, weave, right? And have that tongue out look or whatever, that we don't see the beauty in a smile anymore. You know, we go for that direct sex appeal, or we drool over women that's dark with a booty. But remember, again, these are the same African women that don't have no love for an Afro man, whether he has want money or not. But an old white man, they have no problem with that, right? So how do we pick women that aren't brain dead, that don't have disgust deep down? You pick the ones that smile at you. We're so used to black women scowling at us that even when they come like this, we're like, okay, it's time to go to battle with tattooed up woman, but she got a big butt. All right. And they both got that serious look. And we will bypass the woman actually smiling at us to get to the poisonous steak looking women. The smile that's shining more like a ruby, rare, right? And so basically this is our issue. Brethren, this is our issue. We're too enamored with a shape, when the women that smile at you have a shape too, and they're not mean. Right? And so what's stopping us from choosing them, the smiling women? All right. And that's what I was going to say. That's one of the things I wanted to say. What is stopping us from choosing the smiling women? All right. What's stopping us from choosing the smiling women? The women that smile at us. I mean, that kept themselves in shape, that keep all their natural stuff, not tatted up, arm sleeves, elbow sleeves, whatever you call them. All right. All right. And so where are we at with this? Where are we at with this? And this is the first in examining where we need to go. Brethren, in examining where we need to go, this needs to be the discussion. Now, the other thing that needs to be the discussion is the parameters that we need to set for ourselves, so that when we see a decent woman, that we know that that's the decent woman for us. All right. But those parameters need to be set first. All right. And so how do we set those parameters? That's something you have to do as an individual. Right? Because our needs differ. What's up, masculinity? Our needs differ. All right. So this is going to be kind of a discussion. So my thing is up. right? So this is up. So this was going to be the discussion, and I'm going to go through some of the things that has helped me to navigate this plane. All right, for me. All right, first off, if you ain't learned nothing, we do not need to choose any women with children. That's over. Back in the day, we used to be able to do that. We used to, there used to be honor for a, now, back in the day, it used to be this. We'll choose a woman with children, providing she can have more. All right, because the last thing you do, you don't choose no woman as a wife that cannot bring your seed to fruition. Let me say this again. All right, and by cannot, I mean she had her tubes tied because she had too many children, or she had one from two thugs, so she's not having any more, then she don't need to be a wife. Period. If you can't have any legacy, hey man, no problem, man. If you can't have a legacy, if she can't bring you a legacy, she's not worth it. If she can't bring you a legacy, she's not worth it. And you do a disservice to the community and to yourself to choose such a woman. And so the first thing you should do is only deal with a woman that can bring you legacy. All right, that's easy. Whatever your spiritual belief system, and I want y'all to understand this, whatever your spiritual belief system, you need to choose a woman that is going to enhance that thing. Here's the catch. She don't have to be your belief system. A case in point, this is what I mean. There's a lot of women claiming to be Hebrew that I would not pick as a wife. Even though I say I follow, because Abraham was Hebrew, that makes me Hebrew, right? But why wouldn't I pick them? Why would I pick, say, a Catholic woman from Brazil over a Hebrew woman in the United States? All right, peep this. There's a word in here for something. When you're equally yoked, as they say, right? What that is not somebody with the same beliefs. It is a woman looking for a man that she can respect and a man that is respectable, right? When a woman finds a man that she can respect, say like the Catholic in Brazil, those women, because they understand that the culture is when you find a good man, you become whatever he is. This is Latino culture. There is no fight, no struggle into get who's going to be the head over the house, who's going to run the house. You find one of them, generally, if they haven't been tainted by American religionism, right? They are going to submit to the man. Because if he got his SH in order, they submit to him because, well, whatever is guiding him to have his SH in order and being able to take care of and protect me, I am going to honor that. Right? Now, why wouldn't I choose the Hebrew woman? All right? The woman claiming to be Hebrew Israelite. I wouldn't choose her because her allegiance is to the dude that made her a Hebrew Israelite, her camp. And if her allegiance is to her camp, hey, I saw you, Texas Marine. You can pop back in. if her allegiance is to her camp, then it's not going to be to a decent man. Now, say she gets a man from out her camp. Now, both of their allegiance is not to the home. Both of their allegiance is going to be to whoever the leader of that camp is. That's why I don't deal with these Hebrew Israelite women. Hey, hold on for a minute, Texas Marine. Okay, that's why I don't deal with them. So this is how you have to this is how you have to understand that. All right, just because a woman, all right, has a different culture from you, you might not be looking at a woman that is down with that culture. Maybe that woman's culture taught her that when you come across a good man, whatever culture he is, that's what you become. If you really think about it, everybody is becoming our culture. I was just going, I saw these dancers from India, and I'm kind of accustomed to their dancing, but they're doing hip hop, right? Here's the thing. They're like, oh, our culture is everywhere, right? Because of the hip hop. And what happened was a bunch of black women were like, yeah, that's our culture. But hip hop is the Afro male's culture. Let's not get it twisted. Hip hop, jazz, and stuff were created by the men. The Afro men then shared it with the black woman. The black woman then sold it out to the Caucasian corporations. All right. And then the corporations are try to make an attempt, a feeble attempt, to try to put them at the head of hip hop. Now, how they do this is they poison the younger generation with the devil worshiper new mumbling hip hop, where you don't even have to say words anymore, and say that this is what's popular, only to find out that it was never really popular. They were using popularity farms of people to make something look like popular. And so because something looked popular, like this is how a lot of these hip hop artists became famous without hardly putting out any music, or without people knowing that the music was mainstream first. Their music became mainstream after their fame. Think about that, right? And so basically, a lot of people, especially the younger generation, but even the older generations and other cultures, are following into hip hop. All right, the Afro male hip hop. They're not even dancing to the female hip hop artists. When you look all over the world, when people are sampling from hip hop, it's the Afro male that they are listening to, right? Because it is we were liberating before the drugs and stuff, before talking about drugs. All right, we was like, stay away from drugs. Then they was talking about drugs. Then they was talking about how they had to sell drugs. Then they start talking about using drugs. All right, such a negative progression, right? And so we got to look at where we are now. So we got to set these parameters up. We got to set these parameters up that's going to fit us. Now, here's the other thing. Every last one of our patriarchs left where they were to go get the woman they needed to get. After they got that woman, they brought that woman back to their home. All right? Understand this. Now, while we have to go get the woman, when we get there, she should already be ready to be a wife. And the relationship between the two of y'all should be quicker than normal. It don't take, and then we don't do, the other thing is we need to get away from doing things the white people's way, the American custom, the American legal way. Leave it alone. It's a curse to all relationships, especially relationships amongst people that are trying to do it right in a spiritual nature that the Most High created in us. All right, we need to leave their SH alone. All right, go ahead, Texas Marine. Did you have something?
Oh, you just said so much. I got questions that.
Okay, go ahead.
Listen. Okay, so we need to find wives. Explain to the brothers why it's so hard to find ready-made or women ready to be wives in the Black community, and how do we recognize a woman if we go somewhere else, other nations, that is ready to be a wife?
Okay.
I got an idea, but I want to hear you tell me.
Okay, now here's the thing. Remember, I said we need to leave Black women alone in general. But I said, but there are rubies and unicorns in the United States. Y'all hear me always say that, right? All right. So when I say we need to leave them alone, I'm saying we needed to expand our horizons, get them passports, and start looking in other countries. Now, while you're looking in other countries, remember, you're still aware of the United States. And so what you have done is you have expanded your horizons. You have expanded your parameters of view, right? Now, you are looking for the same thing outside of the United States as you should have been looking for inside the United States. And at no point should you adjust your parameters and say, no, I will accept the one thing, except one thing. All right, let's look at why in the United States we do not, because under certain situations, right? Under certain situations, in the United States, you can choose a woman that has a child if she's a widow or the child's a bastard, right? If she's divorced, the children should have gone back to the father, right? Not to the woman. But because of white custom in America, that stuff got really torn up and now everything is in disarray. All right. Outside of the United States, you do not have to worry about that. Because even when the woman has the children, that man is not on child support or whatever. All right. And in many cases, I know in Brazil, a lot of the fathers have the children. But in the case that they don't, right, he's not on child support, so he's not taking care of the house. All right. If a woman is receiving any kind of thing that where they're forced by the state, where the man is forced by the state to give her money, then she's still married to them, regardless of what the paperwork say, regardless of what white people's laws say. She's still married to him because that's the job, that's the husband, one who takes care of the woman or a home. So if he's still financially, giving her money, then yeah, that's still her husband. Well, it's alimony, and white people said it's alimony, right? And that, remember, everything that they did was to twist you up in the commandments, and so they told you our law says that you're not married, but God's law says you are, because you're getting money from them. And this is the problem with women with children in the United States, because they're all on receiving child support. So however many men are giving her child support, that's how many husbands she has. So you can't marry her because she don't have any. She has husbands already. You're committing adultery. You're flat out committing adultery. You're coveting another man's wife. Well, he's separated from her. No, he's not. He's paying money. for the child. And then we saw the thing with the McDonald thing, how much trouble that could get you in. All right. And then we saw that women weren't presenting themselves as wives. They were looking for a bailout, somebody to get to pay their bills so that they can continue to go through their hoe phase. All right. So this is where we're at. And so for these reasons, in the United States, and if you do take on one of the women and you start supporting her, that these women are talking about going and trying to put dudes on child support simply because they helped them. A woman, this dude was watching her child while she went to school or something. And then think about this. This is the mentality of the black woman in the United States. This woman then tried to go and she asked, how can she put that dude on child support since he was helping her out by watching her children every day? Right. There it is, right there. So yes, you're committing adultery, right? And so basically, so we got two things. You don't deal with the steak, right? You wait for the ruby, and then you got the other thing. You don't, a woman with children that she's physically taking care of, unless that child is a bastard, means that she's not getting child support, don't know who the father is, or she's a widow. You can't have anything, you can't take that woman as a wife. It's adultery. It is literally by the commandments an adultery, an adulterous relationship. All right. And so what do you do? Now, a lot of times we didn't recognize cues, and some of the times when a woman takes an interest in you because of who you are, then I would start paying attention. Understand this. If you are interested in, but a woman starts taking interest in you because of who you are, she was like, okay, yeah, this is a man. Oh yeah, yeah, David, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that video. All right, and so this is basically what you have. That's basically what you have, right? And like David Bowman, and then in Detroit, um, in Detroit, women are not safe from their own mothers. A mother stabbed her daughter with a butcher knife. After the daughter and her husband went and picked up the mother because she was in trouble. All right. Yeah. And so he's talking about, hey, David, was that in New York? Was this in New York? I think it was. It was in New York. Well, he got the link there. All right. And so that's the thing, right? And so to answer the question, right? In order to know, we should know what we don't want. All right. So children are messing with a woman who's getting child support for children. She's off limits. Sexually, any way, shape, form, or fashion, she's off limits. We shouldn't have been messing with them in any way, right? Um, the ones that got all these sleeves, arm sleeves, neck sleeves, beast across their chest. They want thugs. They want a certain type of man in it. If you a good dude, it's not you, right? All right. Now here's the thing. Um, I also shared a video. There was a dude that y'all know how I said that women want thugs so they can have plausible deniability. That women want thugs so they can have plausible deniability. Hey, Texas Marina. Okay. And so basically, this dude, I think he listens to me on my YouTube channel or something. I don't know. But anyway, he mentioned this, right? So those are the uniforms that you see, right? And so basically, when you go to these other countries, our religions are there. The Pentecostal church, y'all know that falling out I had with me over the Pentecostal church. And the same way you know them Pentecostal women to be in the United States, that's how they got them women acting in these other countries. Why? Because that's a spiritual thing. That's a spiritual thing. So that's what we need to be aware of. We need to be aware of somebody that's going to want to shift us to their spiritual line of belief, which is all over the place, right? So you look for somebody that's respective of good, strong men. And in order to do that, you got to be one of those good, strong men from jump, right? Meaning have your finances in. No, you don't need $100,000. You don't need a six-figure income, not to raise no family, right? You don't need a six-figure income. You need to know how to use your income that you make. That's what you need to know how to do, right? So that's that. What was the other question?
How do you
Texas Marine, what was the other question?
how do you recognize or know a woman is ready?
Okay, now, so this is how we recognize it. All right, scripturally speaking, all right, we look for the woman that is in her most natural state. And then if we are decent dudes, we look for women that find interest in the fact that we are decent men. Right? And so you got women that's going to be attracted to you being a good man. Hey, what's up, young boy 24? Okay, he said it wasn't in New York. All right. But so you look for the woman that is in her most natural state, meaning no fake anything. A fake anything is a fake woman. Okay? When the woman got all kind of fake stuff on, then she fake. It's deception. If a woman can't live in her reality, then you got to leave it alone. All right? Look for women that's in their natural state. When you leave the United States, let me say this again. When you leave the United States and go anywhere, especially in South America, the majority of women that you meet are going to be in their natural state. Let me say it again. That's right, they're catfishing. When you leave the United States and talk to the Latin women, whether they be the Afro or the lighter hue, when you go to Brazil, talk to any of the women, they're going to be in their natural state. They're rarely all made up. All right. Day to day, the ones you saw me with, that's who they were. When I was with them, that's who they were. Right? And y'all know this. Y'all know this. Some of y'all know it. No makeup. Rarely do you see them wearing a bunch of makeup. They might wear it to go out to the club. But then again, I've never been out to the club with half of them. Right? Even in the NGO, with the exception of one, generally they don't wear makeup. Generally, they don't wear makeup. So they're in their most natural state. All right. So you should look for that in the United States or outside the United States. The woman that is in her most natural state. 2, any woman coming to you telling you, as a man, that there are things that's that you know that she don't feel that you should talk to a woman about on the first date, this, that, another. That's when you leave alone. All right. And the reason you leave this alone is you're the man. Nobody tells you what the hell you could talk about or not. Hey, what's up, Daniel? All right. You don't allow no woman to tell you what you could talk about or not. Period. Now, here's the other thing. Make sure that her principles are in line with you, which is why you should talk about things that are going on in politics, and you should talk about things that are going on in religion. All right? Because if you really want to know whether or not these women follow the commandments or they pastor, or these camps or or the commandments, just say this: man, them camps be tripping. If she want to leave you alone after that because she belongs to the camp, that means she belongs to the camp, not to the Most High. Same thing. Man, these pastors be tripping. Well, not my pastor. Then she follows her pastor. All right. In politics, these are my beliefs, and I think so and so and so and so, and state what your beliefs are. If she ain't down with it, leave her alone. Because your beliefs should be to line up with the commandments. Like, I'm not for killing children. If she is, oh, that's a murderer. You need to leave her alone. Period. Okay. Demonation. All right. So go ahead. What else did you have, Eddie? Or did you have something to add? And if anybody has something to add, I gave y'all the link because if you have something to add, you can add it. Right? So y'all could pop in. Y'all can pop in. And here's the link. For those of you, especially for the brothers that's been around, been in the military, seen some stuff, pop in and give the younger brothers advice. All right? So, hold on. Let me do this real quick. Hold on. Be right back. And the floor is yours, Texas Marine, real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, so even in the aspect of when you look at a woman, if we go back in so-called old days, and the white adult is a right to be. The family dictated how the woman was. Strong father, submissive mother, properly good family, 9 times out of 10 yields wife material. A single parent home leaves, as Future said, for the street. Any woman that wants to control, change, dominate, handle the money that you ain't handling, any woman that's telling you what's going to happen, how you need to be, what her pimping pastor is, what her sorority is, what her girlfriend is, how her mama, Amy, grandma, any woman that can't talk about a strong man in her life is not going to live this value. Period, point blank. That's my first thing. When I was over in Somalia, in that war-torn country, there was submissive women everywhere. Australia, we actually report whole families there, submissive America with good values, strong moral creed, going to lead a strong household, and his music outside because he ain't there. I thought it was thank you, young boy 24. Thank you. And a woman, a good woman, a good wife, good mother is on your plan. She ain't trying to get you on her plan. Let's see if it kicks back in. Anyway, as I was saying with Dwight, it's coming back. Dwight would know. Dwight would know if a woman's family, especially a woman that's raised by a good father, a strong male presence, a submissive mother, that yields an obedient, submissive wife material. A woman like that, a 9 times out of 10, a woman that was raised with her father as the leading head of that household, the guide, the man who set the principal basis, is going to lead a good wife. That's why, as a culture, Asian and Latinos raise wives. In the Black community, we don't have families. Nabi said you have those rubies, those rare jewels that were raised in 2-parent homes. Sometimes you get a Michelle Obama who you think is good, but dogs out her husband on the side. Other times you get a good wife. You just don't know. You got Vegas odds. But like Dwight found his woman. He couldn't find her in America. Finding a woman like he got in America, I ain't gonna say it's impossible, but you got a better chance of going overseas. It's just any military guy can tell you for a fact. When you went inside a Asian household, you knew what you was getting. If that father was there, bottom line, you knew it. When you walk inside a Hispanic Latino household and that father's there, and them women are sitting back there, and you talking to that father and his son is sitting there, you know you getting a wife, not a thought pocket. Bottom line, you walk inside a Black household, you got a gauntlet of women sitting there yakking their mouth off. What you do? What kind of job you got? And I walked into that. But when I was out the country, whether it was Spain, Australia, even Okinawa, Japan, with the bad rep the military has, when you walk into them households, you dealing with that girl and her parents are there, you know you getting a good one. And they looked upon guys like me, Nabi, Dwight, USMC vet. Those women looked at us because we were U.S. military men as moral, upstanding, good valued men who were going to take care and protect their daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Look at us. They knew we was making money, but they never was about making a lot of money. They knew we was going to take care of that daughter and she was going to be all right. That's the standard we had. Now, what I noticed going down to it landed in Panama. When I spoke English, then women looked at me like, oh, American Black who actually traveled. He don't look like a rapper. I was trying to let me in Panama Airport. I was only there for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
When I got to Barranquilla, the lady checking my passport asked me how long I'm gonna be here. Where am I staying? What hotel? What you doing? You show around? I'm like, no, I'm good. My boy here for me. He gonna show me around. We looked at differently, but I'm talking to women that are smiling. But a woman, everything Nabi said about a woman has to be on point, but you're gonna have a better chance of getting that from women that are raised with strong male leadership in the house. Because if that strong male leadership, you know for a fact that mother is submissive. Because he ain't backing down. And she knew that when she got with him. You have to look at the family, like they say, look at the mama, and you're looking at the future of your wife. You look at the mama in these Latino households or these Asian households, and she still listens to that man, you're gonna have peace. And then you can raise your legacy properly because you will not be undermined by the woman. You got it now.
Okay, so what's up, Frank? What's up, Baruch 12? And so, here's the other thing too. All right, so we're looking at that, right? One, we should never look at a woman that are, I'm gonna go to the church, right? Because they follow the pastor. You should look for a woman that's looking to find a man that's a leader, right? Because she's gonna follow your wishes. Oh, hold on, let me see this. She's going to follow your wishes because that's who she's with, right? Her made a Ruby. Her name was Ruby, half Nigerian. Uh-huh. And so this is basically it. And so the rubies exist, and like I said, the reason why I say pick a ruby, because if you find a ruby in dirt, if you find it in the garbage, it's still a ruby. The garbage don't make the ruby change its composition. The ruby don't become bad because it was in garbage. It stays a ruby even in the midst of garbage, which is probably why you should take the ruby and get it away from the garbage, because the ruby knows that garbage is not its nature. Okay, and so uh-huh. All right. And there's a lot of things too. One thing is hard to do in the United States as a strong male leadership in a matriarchal relationship, that her submission and femininity are always conditional, right? Except for a ruby. A ruby is always a ruby. And that's what I'm saying. That's why we look for a good woman that her femininity is not conditional. Black women's femininity used to not be conditional. It used to be who they were. All right. If their femininity is conditional, then they were never feminine. Let me say this again. If a black woman's femininity is conditional, then she was never feminine. Because a feminine woman don't turn on and off her femininity. It is just who she is. She is a ruby. She's not a piece of steak, depending on which garbage pail you put her in. She is a ruby through and through, right? And she's always a ruby. And this is why we as men need to not mistreat rubies. But see, spiritual brothers, I know, won't. But we know how to not be hostile towards rubies, right? And so this is the important thing about dealing with rubies. One, we should already be prepared to take care of a ruby. Two, we are literally going to have to go to the ruby. Remember, we are to seek and find a man that finds a wife finds a good thing. If he finds, that means if he found it, that means he was seeking it, right? The woman that's the wife should already be in that energy already. Not getting there, she should already be there. Okay, and to point that out, I want. Let me bring this to y'all's attention. Okay, I want to bring this to your attention. One of the things I was looking at is how did we used to marry How did we used to marry? Right? How did we used to marry before white people?
Was it even
You
called
see,
marriage, or was it called taking a wife then?
it was just called taking a wife. You see what I mean? And so, hold on. Let me see something. It was called taking a wife, right? All right, let me see something.
You're talking about a time when it was a big deal and a big accomplishment for a woman of a young age to become a wife before she got old. Where now
Mm-hmm.
it's a big floor show for her to go show the world that she got a
A
$200,000
degree.
and a $500,000 wedding.
All right, I want to show y'all something. And I usually don't pick nothing out of the New Testament, but you got to understand. All right, Matthew 25. I'm going to show y'all this, right?
Oh,
And the reason why I picked this out, because this is in here because it's a couple of things about the culture at the time when this was written. Okay? So at the time when this was written, this was the culture. All right. And so because it was a culture, it became a parable. All right. Did anybody, let me make sure nobody else popped into the thing. Okay, I guess it's just Texas Marine right now. First, let me go through here. Sewage. Uh-huh. That's paid. All right. All right. So understand this. All right. And keep in mind when we discuss this, right? One of the things that you will notice is that you will notice no rabbis, priests, preachers, or anything giving women to be wives or this, that, and the other. The other thing is the the purpose of the first sexual encounter that sets up that's your woman right there, right? And there's two situations that governs this. If she's a virgin, that's usually done in the father's house, right? And the reason why it's done in the father's house, because if she's not a virgin, you have the proof right there, right? So here we go. I want and we'll discuss that for a minute, but I want y'all to pay attention to this. All right. And I like telling this particular parable because a parable was a metaphor story that was based on the tradition so that the people of that day would understand the message that's in the parable, right? So for them to get the point, the situation had to be true so that the twist in the situation when it happened would make sense. Y'all understand what I'm saying? When I say the situation has to be true so that the twist in the parable would then make sense and you would see the point that was trying to be made. All right. And so if we go to Matthews, it says, then the reign of heaven shall be compared to 10 maidens. Okay. So the reign of heaven should be compared to 10 maidens who took their lamps out and went out to meet the bridegroom. Okay. Now, the reason why people understand this is because a bridegroom can have 10 maidens, right? And they going out to meet him, right? Now, pay attention. 5 of them were wise and 5 were foolish. Those who were foolish, having taken their lamps, took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their containers with their lamps. Okay. The other reality is about the custom, the lamps. In order to understand this, why use the lamps? Because everybody took lamps. Everybody took lamps, and everybody know what happened when you need to do something and you run out of oil, or you got the person that fills their car up at night before they go home because they know they got to make a trip in the next day, right? Instead of waiting to the next day and then getting not making it up to the gas station because you ran out of gas. We know this, right? And so, okay, so lamps to light for light. Okay. Now, while the bridegroom took time, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight, a cry was heard. See, the bridegroom is coming. Go out to meet him. Then all those rose up, trimmed their lamps, and the foolish said to the wise, give us of your oil, because ours are going out. But the wise answered, saying, no, indeed, there would not be enough for us and you. Instead, go to those who sell and buy for yourself. Okay. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went with him to the wedding feast. Okay. So, a couple of things to pick up about the culture. 1, 5 went with one bridegroom. All right. 2, they were going to a wedding feast. All right. And so when we say a wedding feast, they weren't going to a marriage ceremony. All right. Because they didn't have ceremonies. They had feasts usually after, the bound chicka wow wow happened. Why did the bound chicka wow wow happen first? Well, if there was going to be any complaint that she wasn't a virgin, it would happen in the father's house. The only time this is not done this way is when the woman is marrying for a second time, meaning she's not a virgin, right? And then she just a man sees her. You need a husband? Yeah, I need a husband. All right. I'm ready to be a wife. And then he takes her, and then he just makes her his wife. That's how that's done. All right. The feast only happens when it's the first meeting between a man and a maiden. Now, when you hear the word maiden, replace that with virgin. That's what a maiden is. All right. And so basically, this is saying that when a groom is ready, when the man is looking, he is not going to choose a woman that's not already ready to be a wife. Period. And that's our cue right there. We should not choose women that's not already ready to be a wife. Yeah, yes. And in primary, most of the stuff comes from Wiccan, from the throwing of the rice to the veil to all the rest of that stuff, right? And so, and that's another. I put that. I made that video way back, right? And so this is where we are, right? And so when we talk about getting a woman, when we talk about picking up a woman, we're talking about picking up women that should already be ready. Y'all understand? We should be talking about women that should already be ready. We should not deal with any woman that thinks in evil. Evil. All right? We shouldn't be dealing with any evil women, evil thinking women. And so you watch their conversation. If a woman's constantly talking about getting over on somebody, how to get over on somebody, all right, or you question their morality, you see what I'm saying? You start saying, "Oh wait, her morality is off." Golly gee willikers, like, right? And you start saying that. You started to notice her morality is off. All right, then that's when you need to, you be like, nah, I'm pass on this one. Hey, what's up, Nesman 99? That's when you say, I'm gonna pass on this one. If they're run by a bunch of females, aunts, aunts, mama, aunts, sisters, all right, run for the hills. All right. Now, this is in a lot of cases, but not in every case. All right, this is in a lot of cases, but not every case. The secular and even religious culture has replaced the Most High with the state. Yes. All right, and let me explain the religious culture. The religious culture. All right, so when I had my license, when I got my license, and I keep telling y'all this, right? My brother wanted me to marry him, my younger brother, right? And I said I can't do it. But you're a minister, you're ordained and stuff like that. And I was like, but I don't have the authority to put you together with another woman scripturally. That's out of order. And I explained it to her. You just get together. If she's a virgin, you go through the father. That's how it's done. Right? And on my license, all right. So my license, because I was ordained in Germany, but it was on a military base, and so it was for whatever state I went to, right? So I thought I was going to end up in Maryland, ended up in Louisiana, folk poke. But anyway, yes, Lord, folk, oh Lord, have mercy.
As you can see,
Bro, Fort Polk is bad when the Marines start laughing at you. Lord, I went through PLDC there.
What?
I went through, because I was already there, but I went through PLDC there.
You was there for a minute.
Oh, man. I mean, during PLDC, and it was the longest PLDC too, because it's Fort Polk. They got swamps and jungle, swamps and jungle. That's all it is. And they want you to they want to make sure you have the whole experience of the swamps and the jungles, running up trees, trying not to get gored by boars.
It used to be JROTC training there because we were doing jungle warfare.
Yeah.
That's why I know.
Yeah.
Out there.
Yeah, Fort Polk. But anyway, All right. Anyway, so, but I told him, right? So when you look at a marriage license, it's a contract between you and the state, not you and the woman. All right. It's what you have to go through before to become a sergeant. Or back in the day, we said sergeant, but an NCO in the army.
It's
You
U.S.
gotta you gotta
It's
do that
NCO
first.
school for us. It's NCO school for us. It's platoon leader something.
Um,
We call it NCO.
primary leadership disciplinary class.
Okay.
All right. So you need to go through that. And there's two of them.
What?
Yeah, there's two of them. Bruh, look.
Same place?
Yes, same place. But anyway, and so I wouldn't wish that. Lord, sorry, y'all. We having flashbacks here. For
You
y'all
know.
that don't know, all the military here is having flashback. Yeah, NCO training.
B knock and P knock.
B knock and A knock. Oh Lord. Okay, well anyway. So anyway, yeah. So I was there and so my license, okay. If I was to do a marriage ceremony, I would have said I would have took a little ceremony book because the marriage ceremony is not in the Bible. That when you see people reading that little book, that's not a Bible, that's a ceremony book, right? All right. And in that we will say by the power. So for me, by the power, whatever state I was in, and I could choose any state because of where I was ordained. I would say by the power
Invested
of God invested in me,
by the state of so and so. Insert
by
state.
God and the state of
Insert state.
insert state that's on my license. I now pronounce you man and wife.
You may salute
So
your
you're
brother.
not man and wife. You know why you're not man and wife? Because I said by the power invested in me by God. God didn't invest that power in me. And the state of whatever state I'm in don't have the authority to invest, to give me the power to put a man and woman together. Only the Father does. That's why they have the Father walk the woman down the aisle.
Most don't say God. They leave that out.
But yeah, that's true. Because you don't have to say it because it's a state thing. The state is approving of your union, not the church and not that preacher. He is just an authority that has been given. He has just been given the authority to perform a ceremony, and he'll sign your thing. He'll sign your document, but the state is the one that gives the power.
He's like a notary over the contract completion.
Yeah, primary leadership development course. Yep. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Running up trees. Running up trees. That's why I am so good at land nav even to this day. Because you just don't forget Pope. You don't forget them lessons learned.
You get lost going to the commissary.
Okay, and so basically, now here's the thing: a righteous woman, and a good woman is going to understand this, especially since we are waking up. I will say this: that in this time, you have a better chance of finding a ruby that now clearly understands the dreg that the this marriage ceremony is, and instead of trying to force you to do the Disney government thing, that the Ruby of today is now going to understand the spiritual trap that that is. And she is now going to understand how against the Most High that is. That is the one thing I could say about how this is waking up. Creflo Dollar.
Uh-oh.
Creflo Dollar. Now I have to give the man respect for this. Creflo Dollar came before his people and said he was wrong about tithing.
What? When?
Um,
He
Hold
said,
on. He said he was wrong about tithing. All right. Now, let me say this. Remember a while back when I explained that no one should be tithing? Y'all remember, some of y'all probably remember the video I did on why you should not tithe. All right. Hold on. Cref.
and the white, I'm like that too. Creflo said that?
Creflo
That
about
is,
tithing.
that is a sign. If Creflo said that, that is a big sign.
And I'm starting to, did I spell that right?
Creflo.
Okay, Creflo Doctor, yeah, EFLO, repents from teaching tithing.
Hmm.
And then he did a thing from being free from tithing, right? So apparently this was 6 years ago. To tithe, being free from tithing. Hold on, let me see if this is the one. And hold on, wait. That let's see, healing power. Let me see. I'm kind of blocked. All right, so he did a speech. Okay, yeah, Creflo Dollar says he was wrong about his teachings on tithing.
Wow.
Um, and let me see if I can find that for you. It. I bet TikTokers for great. Let's see. Try to create the top. Creflo Dollar says he was wrong about teaching tithing. Oh, great. Hold on for a second. Okay, now it should pop up. Okay, got it. So let me see if I can put it in the live.
I am wrong about tithing. What else is he wrong about?
Saying to you that I'm still good.
All right, hold on. All right, so a couple of things I have to do real quick in order to get this up in here. So let's bust a move from this and get back up here. Yes, but yeah, I'm gonna bring this up here because remember, like a couple of years ago, I told y'all about how nobody should be tithing, and that I taught what a tithe was, and it should not be no money whatsoever. And let's say that a lot of people trying to be shocked about it, but they really shouldn't be. Okay, so give me okay. Don't have to give me okay. I think I got it up here. Nigerian Daddy. All right, so let me put this up here real quick. And I think a lot of these pastors are becoming afraid too. Because as a lot of this truth come out, as a lot of truth come out, um, if they don't line up, and a lot of people like me, have been lining the scriptures up for a while, right? Pay attention.
Wrong about tithing. What else is he wrong about?
Saying to you that I'm still growing, and that the teachings that I've shared in times past on the subject of tithing were not correct. And today I stand in humility to correct some things that I've for years and believed for years, but could never understand it clearly because I had not yet been confronted with the gospel of grace, which has made the difference. I won't apologize, because if it wasn't for me going down that route, I would have never ended up where I am right now. But I will say that I have no shame at all at saying to you, throw away every book, every tape, and every video I ever did on the subject of tithing, unless it lines up with this. I've done some corrective teaching in the last 10 years, but not to the degree of what we're getting ready to do now. So why is this important? Because religion is sustained by two factors: fear and guilt. And if it's one subject that the church has used for a long time to keep people in fear and guilt, it is in that subject of tithing.
Now, To piggyback off of that, the other thing that it has been is in this marriage license. The marriage license, the child support court, and all this stuff was used to keep the man broke, to keep him from rebuilding his community, to keep him from building up his family, to keep him from leaving a legacy for his children. All right. And this is what people really don't understand. Now, the next thing is, I told you that marriage, getting married, was not in the Bible. I told you that you're cursing your relationship when you do it that way. I told you what it was supposed to be, right? That's the next thing they're going to have to come clean on. All right. That's the next thing they're going to have to come clean on. All right. My Cash App, y'all. My PayPal me if you want to help the channel out. And what we do. And my TikTok and my email. All right. Now, in saying this, all right, when these people were signing all these marriage licenses, they were shining the relationship that was between, supposed to be ordained by the Most High. They was assigning it over to the government, the United States government, the most wicked entity on the face of the planet outside of England, because the England and the United States are still one. All right. And all these people running this thing, right, have been using these pastors and preachers as puppets. They're coming after that marriage license next. Because I taught on this too. When you care about a woman, you just go get her and take care of her. It's just that simple. She bears you children. Y'all have somebody that'll watch over you in y'all's old age. If you do a good job with raising the children, giving them the financial backing they need, creating that legacy. All right. That's what it's supposed to be about, right? And so when we look at the so-called Black community as it exists now, as a matriarchal society, it's done. It's toast. Men have bailed out. They have woken up, smelled the coffee. They have seen what they've seen, and now it's a new day dawning. It's over. Stick a fork in them. They done. All right. And so what you have now is you have a lot of other people waking up, right? And oh yeah, taffy dollar, right? And so this is where we're at, right? And so the BAW has done herself a disservice by pissing off the good men by not choosing them to begin with. But then let me say this. This was going to be the natural progression of things anyway, because the way we were doing things were out of order. It was a curse. It was out of order. We weren't supposed to be doing marrying by giving ourselves to the government. No, you do not need a vaccine for Brazil. You never needed the vaccine for Brazil. Brazil is the first one place that, nah, we ain't going to do that BS. As a matter of fact, it really wasn't that really closed off for us as people from the United States. All right. And they always had breakfast in their hotels and stuff. Now, during the hot spots, they would shut down businesses at 5 o'clock in the evening. But that's basically it. All right.
Hey, Nabi.
Yes.
I think these are a lot of these females on how the narrative was going on for so long of speaking for the Black community that we sort of hail from. It was the standard to prefer women with children regardless of the standards. It was preferred to take women that's had 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 men's babies and been ran through. We were brought up to think that was the right thing, but what they
Right.
can't understand is that at some point down the line there was going to be enough men who saw through the smoke screen, who understood that it was wrong, who got back in the spirituality, that it was going to change, and they were not ready for the change to come this hot and heavy. It's coming in like an F-14 coming to a flight day. We coming, and it's over.
Right. Right. And so, but not only that, there used to be honor in men that like me, I would, if the women would not have, well, I wouldn't do it anymore for this reason. All right. That a lot of the women become so hyper ruined by all of that, right? That is just difficult. And they'll tell you, oh, no man can satisfy me. Yeah, you've been run through by too many.
Exactly.
The further away you are from a virgin, the harder it is to satisfy you.
They've been used so much that there's nothing left to give. You have nothing for me but attitude.
Right. And so, but you know, there was a time that you know, that the community was a village, but it was destroyed by feminists, black female feminists. All right. And so brothers ain't playing that no more. Right. And so, and then with all the stuff that just going on and on. Now, I'm gonna tell you this. One of the main things that started happening is brothers start getting into their spirituality. Exactly. And when I say spirituality, they said, you know what? I need to work on my finances. I need to work on not going to the gym, but I need to work on my morality. All right. How am I going to define things for me? What's good? What's bad? And I'm looking for the standpoint of me. Oh, and remember when I came up with calling our sperm seed, right? And apparently that's just y'all probably remember the video, especially when I was back in with cytology school, reading them pap smears and stuff. And y'all and I gave that video and I said, no, this is the seed. And I did a lot of the seed videos, right? And now everybody is starting to refer to what they plant as a seed. So they get it. They don't know it came from me, right? But they get it, right? And so remember I said we need to protect our seed. Now everybody is saying that we need to protect our seed. Mm-hmm. They don't know it came from me, but who cares?
Females are saying it now. The ones trying to tell me protect your seed from these ratchet women. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. They don't even know it came from me.
Nah. She said it on the video with the McDonald's video. She tells me protect your seed at all times.
Right. And she don't understand, and that girl probably don't understand that terminology came from me. I wouldn't be surprised if they thought it came from Kevin Samuels. Because they think, all the stuff that I came up with first, they think it come from him. Right? But it don't matter. Because that I haven't heard Kevin Samuel use that term though. But whoever got it out there in the the dudes are starting to look at it. I got to protect my seed. Now, let me explain why I did those videos way back. When did I do those videos? 2010. Let me think. 2010. That's when I started referring.
I didn't come across you in 2016 when I started watching your videos.
Okay. 2010, though, is when I started doing those videos with the seed, the cytology stuff. Right? And 2010, 2011, and up there. I think you was around the white. Okay. And so there was a reason I started changing things to seed, because what's happening now, I wanted the dudes to understand the importance of what we were producing in our loins. Until I brought it up, we didn't understand as men that we are the creators of life. Until I brought it up. Until I went through cytology class, I didn't really think to make that. It was something I always knew. But I mean, just seeing things at the microscopic level and all this stuff. And I said, no, we got to change the dynamic of how we think of ourselves. Once we change the dynamics of how we think of ourselves and then what we are actually producing. And now, if you really look at the main reason dudes are staying away from the females, because they're saying to protect their seed. They are starting to see that now it isn't just I'm gonna just gush up in you. They're like, oh no, I'm creating seeds. I am creating the beginning of life. And if it's going to be life, I got to plant it in the good soil. A woman who's going to bring it to term. A woman who's going to be a good mother afterwards. Right? And so that's what makes this stuff to start really becoming significant. All right. And so basically, when we go and choose these women, right? When we go and choose these women, we need to think with that mindset that we choose a woman that also understands that we are seed makers. And she understands her role as we are the creators, but she's the carrier of life. All right. And that's the other thing. And we need to develop conversations where this comes up. Or a lot of women, if you look on TikTok, right? If you look on TikTok, especially if you look on TikTok, a lot of women are now starting to advertise, and they call them pick-me's. They call them pick-me's, right? But a lot of women are starting to advertise, all right, that, yeah, we're going to reject the system. We're looking to choose the man because they see the system is about to crash down on them. They see that the system is about to crash down. Right. All right. And so as they look for the system to crash down, right? Some of them are not going to be worthy to be chosen, right? Some of them have repented. And here's the thing about repenting. You repent before the damage is done, right? A person who repents understand where they could have been had they not repented. A person that didn't repent get into the trouble, they pay the price, and they're only sorry because of the stuff that they're going through, the punishment that they're going through as a result of not repenting. Uh-huh. Yeah. And so brothers are checking out. Brothers ain't even checking with the hood.
We ain't even checking into the hood to check out.
Uh-huh. Yes. All right. It used to be brothers made it. They were stroll around the hood, look for that honey. And they was like, oh no, it's not worth it. Because these women have taught their daughters to be tyrants. Okay. And so now we are having this discussion, right? So when we see an attractive woman that's attractive because she's in her natural state. And remember, we got to be in the state of a good man, because a good man is going to realize that the attractive woman is going to be the one that is in her most natural state, not the one with the biggest booty. Because when them pants come off, it ain't nothing but fat, right? And they have all kinds of clothing to make you think that their shape is something that is not. All right.
That's the uniform.
Right. Oh, no. That's we're talking about the witchcraft. They're the ones that go put them spandex stuff on, that them things that suck their gut in.
The Spanx.
Yeah. All right, yeah. So yeah, no, that's a problem, right? And so don't fall for it. The other thing is this, right? So don't fall for that problem. The other thing is this that you got to watch. That all of them, the righteous and the unrighteous, see stuff is about to crash. So the righteous are going to be in their natural state, right? When you look at them, they're going to have been in that natural state for a while, because that's who they were. Hey, what's up, K Dot? Good. So what happened after that?
Yeah. I'm curious now.
Uh-huh. All right. And so this is yeah. And so they got a whole lot of stuff going on. Um and so we got to look out for these things. Then he gets mad at him. And this is the thing. It's a good thing your father didn't pick this dude up, right? But anyway, yeah. So and so this is what this community, this is what the matriarchal black woman community, the feminism, this is what it created, this mess right here, right? And so we have to start over with our own women, the women that understand the mistakes of the past and not want to repeat them, and the women who are actually looking for righteous men to be guided by, right? And so, like I said, it's going to be a woman in her natural state, right? That's going to have honor for a decent brother. And we just got to be decent brothers. Have our stuff straight, have a sense of morality. You see what I mean? And things like that. And I'm not talking about talking morality. I'm talking about the way we live. They see truth in how we live. And what I mean by that is nobody sees me as a churchy person, right? But they see me as a person that mean what I say what I mean. Okay. Well, his father, Rashawn, what's up, man? The father knew better, though. The father was probably thinking that this is exactly what this dude wanted him to do. You see what I mean? All right. For you new ones, for you new people that came in, if you have something to add to this outside of this, because we're not going to get into too deep into these weeds, but so especially for those of you that found someone, because so we talked about the rarity, we talked about the possibility, and so now we're talking about what you should look for, right? And so this is basically it. And this is not only in the United States, this is outside the United States. The reason why you're going outside the United States is not to end up with the same mess you was dealing with in the United States, but to expand your horizons. To increase the probability of you being able to find someone, right? And so these are the parameters. Outside the United States, because of the culture, especially in Latin America, they like this. All right. And so, okay, hold on. Let's see. What does he say? Yep. Uh-huh. Right. And even in hip hop, that was a bad thing to have two parents. Right. But this is something I want y'all to understand, that people are going to look down on righteousness, right? And what's worse is the rubies are going to take a hit too. And so, and this is across cultures, right? And so they're going to appear. You're going to see them they're going to stand out. Rubies are going to start standing out because remember, I said, regardless of how wicked people get, rubies still remain rubies, right? And they're going to start standing out. When you start to notice them, that's when you approach them. And so, yeah, in Thailand and okay, yeah. And so it's passport, get your stuff straight. Yep, there you go. Because you don't want your pops, even if pops smash them into the concrete, you don't want your pops in jail. And and a lot of these people are doing demonic stuff like this to get Afro men put in jail, get us to lose our temper, to get us put in jail. They're not going to come and pull a weapon on them so that we can take them out. They're going to come do stuff like that and cause us to go to jail for something little. All right. Yeah, we got to outsmart that mess.
Trying to trigger you.
Yeah, we got to outsmart that mess, right? So when we talking let's not get so far into that because that's not what this is about. All right. Because that's an easy fix. Watch your back. All right. When we're dealing with these females, though, that's how we do it. The rubies are, y'all, keep your eyes open. The rubies are going to start manifesting themselves because all the wickedness, there's been so much wickedness around them. And it's going to force them to actively make themselves available. They've been passively doing it, but now they're going to be forced to actively make themselves available. Right? Like throwing hints directly at you. You see what I mean? And they're going to look to be found just like we're looking to find. Yep, they'll try to push them buttons. Yes. Okay, so they're going to look to be found, right? And so the rubies are going to, and you got to watch for the fake ones though. But the rubies they're out. They're out. The rubies are out, right? They are few and far in between. And like our patriarchs did, you might have to go get them. Brothers, listen to what I'm saying. The patriarchs had to leave where they were to go to where the rubies were to get them and bring them back. The thing is, you can't have fear that, oh, this might happen. Yeah, anything might happen. Look at what was going on with Ishmael. What did he do? He sent that he replaced that tent pole with another. So understand these. Understand this. All right. The rubies are out there. Right. And you're going to have to go get them. So your money's going to have to be right enough to go get them. You're going to have a passport. You're going to have a car or whatever. Right. So the rubies are out there and you're going to have to go get them. Bottom line. What's up, Backwoods Rider?
And that ruby might just be as close as Mexico. It might be as far as New Zealand. You're gonna have to make that step. Like I take my own thing. I did not want to travel after the military, but what I saw from Nabi was with that term, planting that mustard seed by just seeing how relaxed and happy he was, and just down there in Brazil, when he said Colombia, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna step out on faith. I'm gonna trust that my brother's showing me the real deal, and I'm gonna go see with my own eyes. I said, what's the worst that can happen? I take a vacation in a different country. I'm relaxed. Best thing, I see that there are actually rubies, diamonds, and precious jewels down here just waiting for a respectable, high moral, fortitude, honest man to come take them as a wife.
Yeah, what they want is honesty. What they want is honesty. Like if you go to the Philippines and you're like, I'm Muslim, we have multiple wives. They're good with that. A lot of them are good with that because that is a policy there.
And they're not always looking for a rich man. They're just looking for a man that can take care of them.
That can take care of them. And that is a policy there. In the Philippines, they honor that religious policy. In Brazil, some of the dudes there. Now you got a lot going on in Brazil, but in Brazil, some of the dudes there allow that. And you could probably get by with it in the younger generation in Colombia, so long as you can take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
In Africa, we know that's a thing in most African cultures. The only place is not that way is where the women want to take over the men.
Westernized culture.
Yeah, the westernized culture where they say, yeah, I want to control the man. I don't want to share the man. All right. And so they would rather the whole culture fall around them. So yeah, so it is what it is. In the United States, things are going to be difficult, right? But here's the thing: you even got some rubies in the United States, right? And so when you find one, you snatch them up. But that again, you're not going to have as many as you will find outside of the United States. Yes, exactly. And here's the thing: when you deal with these, when you deal with the rubies, they're not going to be in this company. They are not going to be in this company. All right. So that's one thing. They will not be in this company. All right. So let me say this to back it up. One, we got to have our stuff straight. We got to have our morality straight. We have to know exactly what we want. All right. And then we need to be ready to travel to get it. Two, as men, we are supposed to produce children. It says, be fruitful and multiply. That was the first commandment given to us. All right. Who are we to break it out of fear? All right. Three. All right. Now that we know our responsibility, right? We can, hey, what's the only premium? We can go to other countries. We can go across the states. All right. But we can make it known that we're looking. Now that we're together, this is what we look for. We look for the Afro woman or woman, period. But if we're going to get an Afro woman, because some people just don't like other cultures of women, then you get her in her most natural state. Two, her body should be in line with the commandments. And we're not talking about went to the gym. All right, we're talking about not ruined through drugs, tattoos, and all the rest of that stuff. Don't got tattoos running all up her neck. All right, chest tramp stamps on the chest. All right, no. All right, three. She is going to love being in the company of strong men, and she is going to submit to the direction of the man. All right. Okay. The evil women can't change her, right? Because her desire is going to be for a good man, and you won't have to worry about her wanting to hang out with her evil girlfriends.
And she won't have them to begin with.
Yeah, right. Oh, and they'll all have some girlfriends, because some of the times they have girlfriends because the girlfriends just like hanging around her because she's a good one, right? She's not going to be run through, and she won't have a child. All right. And that's what we're looking at right there. All right. That's what we're looking at right there. So, brothers, with all that said, I'm going to be out, and thank y'all for stopping by. But that's who we look for, and that's the condition we should be in before we look. All right. Because the other thing, once we find her, it should be immediate whether there's something where it's going to be something between us. And then we should have a place already prepared for her. Period. And she will not want to operate by anything dealing with the system. Because as evil as we see it is, if she's a ruby, she should see the same evil in the system that we do. And so we both should know that we need to, however we do our thing, it should be based on our system, not this white government system. Not the preacher, pastor, crooked church system, which came from the slave system to keep us indoctrinated and enslaved. All right. No, this is a whole new world. A whole new world, y'all. All right. And we're creating it as we go. All right. So, with that said, everybody, I'm out. I'm keeping this short to 2 hours. Well, we over 2 hours now, but anyway. So I'll holler at y'all the next time. And there's a lot going on, y'all. There's a lot going on. All right. We got to deal with women that see the evil and wickedness and want to get away from it. All right. We got to see, that's who we're dealing with now. We're dealing with the women that want to get away from this wickedness that we now see, the presence of all this wickedness. And they're looking at you as their leader, period. Not the system. Matter of fact, they don't want nothing to do with the system, period. Let the privilege, let all the daggles, or they call them, be where they are. Leave them alone, and leave it for what it is. Okay. So, with that said, I'm out. Peace, love, and soul, everybody, and I'll talk to y'all on the next one.
Peace.
Peace.